Let's go!
Hey everybody, Coach Scott here, and today I want to teach you and tell you the secrets that I have learned from successful people, because what I know is success always leaves clues. And what I've learned about being around successful people is that they have a very unique distinction, and that is they think differently than most people. You see, somewhere along their journey, a certain mentality begin to change inside them, begin to change them from the inside out, and they begin to see the world differently. They begin to see opportunities differently. They begin to see problems differently, because all successful people at one time in their life were followers of somebody else. And at some point, something switched on the inside of them, and now they themselves have become successful. And what I've learned is that if you want to become successful, you have to begin to develop certain mentalities and ways of thinking that will allow you to be impactful and have influence and become a person of influence. You see, recently I was watching a show on Animal Planet with my children. That's one of my favorite channels, by the way. And I saw where a lion began to attack a giraffe, and I had never seen that before. And then it showed where the lion attacked an elephant. And this intrigued me, and I began to study the lion a little bit differently. And I looked at the lion a little bit closer than I had thought before in the old history books and the old cartoons. And what I began to realize is that the lion has an attitude that makes him different than any other animal in the animal kingdom. And that's why the lion is called the king of the jungle. And as I thought about the lion, I realized that it's a great source of encouragement to me just thinking about the lion and the lion's attitude. And as I watched the show unfold, and as I watched the lion, that lion attack animals that were bigger, that were more powerful, that were stronger, and they weighed a lot more than the lion, and they were seemingly capable of handling themselves and actually killing the lion, I realized that it doesn't take the strongest. It doesn't take the biggest. It doesn't take the fastest or even smartest person to be successful. And then I begin to think about all the excuses of why people don't think they can become successful. And they say things to themselves like, well, I'm not the smartest, or I'm not the tallest, or I'm not the most handsome, or I'm not the prettiest, or I didn't get to go to the best schools, or I didn't have the best upbringing, I only had one parent, or if I just had a mother, or if I just had a father, I just didn't have the best opportunities. And that all may be true, but it doesn't limit you from becoming successful, and it doesn't limit you from changing the way you think. And the lion shows us that we can't make excuses of why we cannot be successful. And then I was reminded of one of my favorite quotes by Alexander the Great, and that is, an army of lions led by a sheep will always be defeated by an army of sheep led by a lion. Ooh, I like that one. And the Bible says that a lion, mighty amongst beasts, retreats before nothing. And that's Proverbs 30:30. So the question is, how is the lion able to overcome these limitations with size and strength and speed and even intelligence? He's not as tall as the giraffe. He's not as heavy as the hippo. He's not as strong as the elephant. He's not as smart as the hyenas. So how is the lion the king of the jungle? And so I believe it boils down to one thing, and that is what the lion believes about himself. You see, the lion believes that he is the king of the jungle, and that he has a belief system and he has an attitude that backs it up. And because of that attitude of belief that tells every other animal in the whole jungle, you better recognize who I am. I'm the king. And that's what separates successful people from people that are not successful. It's what they believe about themselves, not what they say to other people about themselves, but what they actually say and think about themselves. That's what really matters. And interestingly enough, the lion acts out what he believes. He acts out what he thinks. Because in all reality, the elephant has enough size to kill the lion. And the hyena can outsmart the lion. And the giraffe is actually bigger and taller than the lion. But the elephant and the hyena and the giraffe, when they see the elephant, they run, because they all act the way they think. They believe that the lion is superior to them. And he is, because in his mind, he believes he's supposed to be superior and he's supposed to be the attacker. And so if you are superior in your mind and you have an attitude that creates an environment that allows you to believe in yourself and to think differently about yourself, then you will act on what you believe. And in the same way, just like the lion knows and thinks that he's the king of the jungle, the other animals act and think the way that they believe about themselves. So in many ways, people can become prisoners of their own gifts and talents. Just like the elephant's size and strength, he's a prisoner of his own gifts and talents because he's victimized by the way he thinks, because we will always act on how we think and believe. And this is why many people don't become all that they're created to be. They live in a state of unbelief and a state of failure, or they're always holding on to their past mistakes and setbacks and disappointments. And because they won't let go of their history, what happens is it begins to choke the life out of their future because they become a prisoner of what they believe. So it doesn't matter how tall you are, doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how intelligent you are, how many opportunities you have, how big you are. It's your mind that makes you either big or small. It's your mind that either allows you to be successful or keeps you in a prison of failure. You will never have success beyond your belief. I'm gonna say that one more time. You will never have success beyond your belief. It's so important to understand that if you're ever gonna go to a higher level of success, you'll never get there beyond what you believe is possible. This is why it's important to get yourself around people that believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself, because you can use their belief in you for a while until you can begin to believe in yourself. And when that switch flips on the inside of you, you will begin to fly on your own. You'll begin to stand up inside yourself. You'll begin to take charge of the inner conversation when the negative voices and the naysayers come against you. You will have an attitude of belief. And attitude is always a product of your belief system. And so this is what I'm telling you today. Successful people are not born. Successful people are made when they decide to change the way they believe. So what the question is, what are you believing about you? And if what you're believing about you is not leading you to your goals, it's not leading you to your destiny, it's time to make a shift. It's time to change the way you think. Because when you begin to change the way you think, the things you think about will begin to change. So keep your foot on the gas. God bless you guys. If you'll do that, I believe and declare you will be successful and you will be all that you were created to be. God bless you. Take care. We'll see you soon.